13. Now that's a name Dell has used for several systems in the past. This is actually a lot different from them. On the outside it sort of looks the same, silver aluminum design. We called a previous version the Dell Book Air because it was so MacBook Air-like, but here you can see the screen goes nearly to the very edge of the lid. It's almost a borderless design, not quite. Dell calls it an infinity display, and it's a 13.3-inch screen and what's essentially an 11 or 12-inch body, certainly a lot smaller than a lot of 13-inch laptops, including the 13-inch MacBook Air, which you're probably most likely to compare this to. The other big thing about the new XPS 13 is it's the first PC that we've seen with a Core i5 version of Intel's new Broadwell generation of chips. That's the 5th generation of Core i series chips. Previously, we've only seen 1 or 2 systems with the Broadwell they call the Core M, which is designed for super slim, super lightweight sort of tablets and hybrids like the Yoga 3 Pro. You could have conceivably put one of those in here, but I'm pleased to see that you've actually got the full power Core i5, or for the entry-level model, the Core i3. And even though it's got this cool screen design, it actually starts at $799, which is super reasonable. But for that, you get that Core i3, you get 128 gig SSD, and you just get a standard 1920 by 1080 display, and not a touch display, which does seem like a bit of a misstep if you've ever tried to, use Windows 8. You've got to trade up and pay a little bit more to get the Core i5, which I would recommend, and get the touch display, which also bumps up the resolution to 3200 by 1800. So that's somewhere between Full HD and 4K. It certainly works well on a 13-inch screen like this. By way of comparison, here's the 11-inch MacBook Air. Next to it, I've got the 13-inch Dell XPS 13, almost the same size, and over here is the much larger 13-inch MacBook Air. Now, testing that new Broadwell Core i5 CPU, it performed a little bit better than the previous generation. Certainly not a huge step, and not a huge step in battery life. We got about 7 hours out of this guy. So if you're looking to invest in an XPS 13, you're doing it because it's a smaller body with a bigger screen, and it's got this really cool, almost borderless edge-to-edge look. I'm Dan Ackerman, and that is the Dell XPS